papers down because the last lady was crinkly. Okay.
Anytime you're ready.
Good afternoon, Ted. I'd like to thank you for coming to share your history for the tribe's oral history project. And we'd like to start out by asking you your full name and then spell it for the gentleman back here so they can write it down correctly.
My name is Theodore Francis Christjohn. Christjohn, Christjohn. Was born 9/1/47, Oneida, Wisconsin.
And could you spell Theodore and Francis for us as well?
Theodore, Theodore. Francis, Francis.
Theodore was Theo?
Dore. Theodore.
Okay. Now we're going to ask you who your parents are, and if you remember your mom's maiden name, put that in there as well.
My dad is Amos Paul Christjohn. My mother is Daisy Akata House Christjohn. Green. She was a house on my Elsie Green house.
How do you say that? Ekada?
Akata.
Agatha?
Agatha.
Okay. Got that, Bob? Okay. Then we're going to go to your grandmas and grandpas. You want to tell us who your grandparents were on your mom's side?
My mom and dad. My mom is Daisy Green, maiden name, and her dad is Joel Green, and the mother is Elsie House. And
Okay, and then how about on your dad's side?
on my dad's side is Moses Christian and Lucille Hill Christian.
Okay. Do you remember your great-grandparents?
My great-grandma is Louise Denny Christian and Moses Christian.
Okay.
And they had my uncles Alpheus Christian, Thaddeus Christian, and David Christian, and Celinda Christian, and one more I can't remember right offhand. But I remember Alpheus Christian, Thaddeus Christian, and David Christian, and great-grandma Louise Christian, very good. They were over in the across the street from here in the mission school over there. They lived up on top up there, and I was about 2-3 years old when I was small, younger back then. And Grandma used to watch me while Thaddeus and Dave, they worked in the cemetery and the church and places around here, and they had horses back in the behind the school over here. And there's big apple trees over here too. But I was small and those trees were big. And the horses were pretty good size too. And my Uncle Al, he used to go over there and fix the horses' hoofs. Blacksmith, he was a blacksmith over there, and I seen him, all his material over there one time. I just, sometimes that's what I like to do, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah. Were your uncles tall like your dad was?
Yes, they were. They were tall. To me, they were really tall. Last time I seen the Thaddeus was in 1965 before I went in service, and he was in a hospital, and that's when he passed on.
Okay.
They were all tall. They were slim.
It's kind of neat that you know your great-grandparents. How about the other set of great-grandparents?
On my grandma's side, Elsie Christian, I can't go back that far.
Okay.
And I was something, I don't know what it, where on Joel's side and Elsie, but a lot of the houses, John House was her dad, Elsie. And I can't remember. That's why I'm having some work,
Try to look
But
it
I
up.
had more with on my dad's side of the family. I was with them most of the time.
Right.
Up in Tagerton and then all over the place, wherever they were. Just although I did have contact with Grandma and Grandpa Joe and Elsie, I used to stay with around over there too and help them out over there. And when we were a kid, we always have to haul water, stuff like that.
Do you know if your great-grandparents or your grandparents went to the boarding school?
My dad did. He went, I think that was in Wittenberg, and he went out to Carlisle, I think, But, he went to different schools, I know that.
Okay. Do you know if your grandmas and grandpas went at all?
Grandma, I do not know if she went to where she went to school. I think it was in Wittenberg also. That's my dad's mother. And then Grandma Elsie House Green, I don't know where she went.
Okay.
And Joe Green.
Out of all your grandparents, did they all speak Oneida?
Oh, yes, they did. They all spoke Oneida.
That I figured.
That's right from great grandma. Great grandma, she spoke the language. That was it, nothing else. There was no English spoken at all, and she give you the eye if you did. But then I was younger, and I knew, she. So all she did was speak the language to me.
Okay, now I want you to list out your brothers and sisters, starting with the oldest down to the youngest.
My oldest brother is Glenn Paul Christjohn. And next in line would be my sister Naomi Lucy Osborne Christjohn. And John Wayne Christjohn. James Bernard Christjohn. And this is where I come in, as Theodore Francis Christjohn. And Paul Emerson Christjohn. And Cyril Lee Christjohn. And Rosalie Margaret Christjohn. And then from Rosalie we come to Kay Francis Christjohn. And after Kay was Raymond Edward Christjohn. Then comes Gwen Christjohn. And then comes Gwen, that would be Joey, Dale Joseph Christjohn, then Pamela Christjohn, Pamela Margaret, Pamela Marie, and then we come to Paula Christjohn.
And how many is that?
That's 14. That's 14. 8 boys and 6 girls.
Wow. And I remember some of them. Out of all of those children, how many are left?
There's 3 brothers. There's myself, Theodore Christjohn, and Cyril Lee Christjohn, and Dale Joseph Christjohn. And my sisters, they're all alive.
All alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you said you were born on the reservation. You stayed with your grandma quite a bit. So basically, did you grow totally up on the reservation?
Yes, I did.
You just
Yes,
went
I
in
grew
between families?
right here within the reservation between here and Tigerton. My grandma used to be up in Tigerton. I used to go up there in the summer also, and my Aunt Ray, she was up there too, and I stayed with them up there. Then I came back. Then I stayed by Grandma Elsie Christian also. And then I stayed up a lot with Grandma Louise Christian when I was small like that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. Were there a lot of Oneidas that were up in Tigerton?
Yes, there is. There's still quite a few Oneidas yet. On my dad's side, there's quite a few left up there in Tigerton. Yes, most of them worked in the mill, paper mill, or logging companies out there.
Now, did you list off your dad's family? Because I didn't hear Maria.
No, I did not.
Okay, you wanna give us those names?
His sisters.
Yeah.
My dad's sister starts with Anna John. And then comes my dad, Amos Paul. Then Maria Hinton, Christian. Then Maria, there is Elizabeth Christian, she passed away. And then there's Francis Christian. And then there's Eva Christian. Then there was Vernon Christian. And then there's Rosetta Christian.
So your dad had a fairly big family too.
Right. Right on.
Okay. Do you know the aunts and uncles on your mom's side?
On my mom's side, yes, I know. My mom would be the eldest, is Daisy. Well, there was an older brother that was older. He passed when he was younger. And then my mom, and then Alan Green, and then you come to Beatrice King, and then you come Muriel, and then Erna Wheelock, Muriel Skinador, Erna Wheelock, and then you come to Mary Jane.
Mary Jane, Doc Theodore.
Right.
So you were in between Oneida and up in Tigerton. Where did you start out going to school?
I started out right here at the mission school down here. That's when Thaddeus was still over here, and I, wondering why I was late some mornings, because I just had to come down the stairs. But I made it there, I was in the same building.
Do you remember who was the priest at that time?
The priest, I believe it was Father, I don't remember, it's Father Christian, Father Britton, and Father Clark, all during that time,
Okay.
as far as that time.
Yeah, I don't know who was before Christian. I think there was a Father Torn, but
Oh,
what about
okay.
the nuns? Were they weren't the ones that taught school, were they?
Yes, there was nuns here that in this building, came out of this building here. There was Sister Mabel,
Oh,
that was
okay.
right here, Sister
St.
Mabel,
Anne.
Sister Augusta, Sister Harriet, Mother Edith, and Miss Abbott.
She's the missionary.
Okay.
Yeah, she taught 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I didn't know what her status was.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was the missionary.
Oh, okay. And those are the ones I knew.
Okay.
Sister Augusta, just a friend of mine knew her down in Chicago. She was at one of them homes out there, and she asked about it. That was just a couple of years ago, and she was really elderly. When I was younger, she was elderly already, and that was 30-some years, over 40, almost 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, and then she had to be over 100 or 100 then when last time she seen him. So
Yeah, I think they're all gone now.
I'm pretty sure.
Where did you live when you were on the reservation?
I lived over here on County Line Road, about 1.5 miles, maybe the most from here, down by Art Rentmaster's place, right next pass between old Summers Homestead and there, right where Jerry Krowski's house is now. We used to have a house there, right there, and that house burnt down. And then we moved down to Stagger Lane over here, and the house in August Firm had these houses over here. And then after the house burnt down, that's where we went. But I remember we used to live over here by Dr. Hill's house over there too, and Dr. Hill over there. Then finally we went over to where the homestead is now on Old Seymour Road. Right.
What was life like when you were growing up? Like, what kind of games did you play, and what kind of responsibilities did you have?
We had tires, rolled tires around, and it was a lot of fun because we always running around all the time. It wasn't where we had all the best things. We were poor back then, and it just we had whatever we could make use of for a toy or whatever it was. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot easier back then.
Yeah.
And then every now and then, my brother got a bike from Art Randmaster. He was working the fields, and we all tried getting on it. I think that frame is still back over there in that old. That was all that's left. The wheels gone.
Did you guys swim in the creek down here?
Yes, we swam here in Duck Creek, over here behind Grandma Elsie's back here. We swam back there, and we swam over there by Rentmaster. He had a pond way back towards the woods back in there, and we used to go swimming when we used to live over there by County Line U on the County Line
Right.
Road back there. We used to go back up in there and swim.
I wonder if it's still there.
I don't know. Well, the farm's gone now, so a lot of things have just grown over. I think the tribe's got a lot of that property back around in there, down
Okay.
there.
Conservation area.
I think so.
During the summers, when you were out of school, did any of your family go cherry picking?
Oh, yes, we did. We went cherry picking a lot. Oh, we packed up and we went, and it was a lot of fun. We had to pick up, so much a day, and then my dad didn't come up there till Friday night, and then Saturday morning it seemed like he picked more that morning than we did all week long. But he came up there, and it was something. Then we got to go swimming up there, and then I think we got so much just to go jump on one of them carts up there back then, But it was a lot of fun because there was a lot of I remember a lot of the Native Americans there. They come out there, and there were different camps, and every Saturday afternoon they all get together. Every camp would have a ball team, and they go play ball at a place that afternoon, someplace. Some team, Winnebago team, an Omni team, or somebody would play ball around that area, and then it was something else,
Yeah. So where did you go to high school then?
I went to Seymour. Yes, after I left the mission school. I think it was in 6th grade when they integrated us into public schools. And I went to public school in Pulaski. I didn't know what to expect over there, And then there's Donnie Summers and I were in the same room over there, So, and we were one, So
Was it a big change?
it was really a big change, I didn't expect, I just didn't know what was going on, what was happening, Over here, we got to do a lot of things over here different than what they do over there.
Yeah. The Angelus at noon, prayers at 9.
Right, ring the bell.
Yeah.
Had to ring the bell at noon and come, But it was a big experience from there. Then after that, I went to Seymour, and then I didn't finish school in Seymour. I got out, and 1 year later, I was in the service. I went in service, after that.
What branch of the service?
Army.
Army.
I was in the Army.
When you were in high school, did you participate in any kind of sports at all?
Wrestling and track.
Track.
Right. Right.
Did you notice any kind of discrimination with the Indian kids at all?
Oh, you see it, you hear it a lot and everything like that. And other kids call you different things like that, But what do you do? You can't.
Ignore it.
I mean, we did, but you couldn't take it to anybody. We didn't know if we should or not do something like that. Cause big babies and all that stuff like that. But it just got harder. But everything changed after. It seems like I went in service and I got to realize, where all different people came from, different ethnics and everything like that. There were so many different, ethnic people in the branches of service.
Now, you were in the Army. What about your brothers? I think a number of them were in the service.
Yes, my brother Glenn, he was in service. He was in the U.S. Army. He was in there for 6 years. And John, he was a medic in the U.S. Army. He was over in Germany, in Berlin crisis area. And then my brother Paul Emerson Christjohn, he was in the Army. He died over in Vietnam in '68. So, and that was something. Then I was in the Army, and then I was in for 6 years. And then my sister Paula, she went in the Army, and that's how many. And then my dad, he was in the Navy. Yes.
Your dad was in the Navy. I didn't know that.
Right. Yes, he was in the Navy in World War II. He was older when he went in. He was in 30-something years old, something like that when he went in.
When you were at home yet, did your family go Hoyaning?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We went Hoyaning, and it was nice. It was nice and cold, but we didn't notice it.
Yeah. What was your route?
We had everybody's route. Up over here by Stagger Lane, we went down Stagger Lane, then we went South Park Avenue, all around that whole area. Down here, then we come down here by K Hills, from around this place, around the area like that. And then it seemed like we did good. There was a lot of homemade donuts and everything back then,
Out of all the things that you did when you were a kid, what are some of your favorite memories?
I guess it's just running around mostly. We were running in the woods a lot all
Freedom,
the time.
yeah.
Really, it's just free. It just then we had to cut the wood too. So it didn't bother us. We just knocked tree down. For a wood fire and everything. I'd take it, play in the woods before we took it home. And then that was more of like our time. As Dad made us didn't make us. He asked, you know, well, he actually made us come out there with him to, you know, because we had to haul the logs back to the house. But we made it more like a fun thing as boys, because, you know, well, he was caught chopping, we were just playing around, like, you know, made it look, you know, like we're doing something. We got the got the wood home. We always walked. We walked from that county line U to school every day, for school. We walked there down here. And there's one year I didn't miss a day of school, and Miss Abbott gave me a booklet, and I said, well, it's for not missing school. One day I didn't miss a school day. You know, I said, wow. I said, gee, I thought I missed a day. You know.
You didn't try it again, huh?
I tried, but it didn't happen. I got sick that one year I got sick. I know I was sick. Yeah. So there was it was a lot of fun down in school here. And then Oscar Archer used to come over there, and he used to teach us language and show us how to dance in the back in the area. And Dixon Swamp was back there too. He'd come in there, and then they'd be talking the language, and you get out there. There's about 5, 6 guys, 7. Your brothers were one of some of them too, you know, and they were in there. Dennis Skinner, and then they were all out there, you know. It's just, you know, I just see your brothers out there, the only ones really out there, and
making their own outfits.
Right.
Yeah. Do you remember the Cub Scout groups that used to?
Yes, I remember the Cub Scout. Your mother was my then mother, you know, and there was quite a few of us, and then. I remember we went on a jamboree that time, and I think it was at Bay Beach there. We all went over there. You know, there was I think there were the Boy Scouts then.
I know it was a big group because we used to have the blue and green or whatever, blue and
blue,
and
we
gold
had
or
blue,
whatever.
and then the brown shirts we had. We had boys, Cub Scouts were in the blue, and we had the yellow scarf around. Like I remember that, and then the brown was the Boy Scouts.
And Carol, what was her name? Carol helped with that.
Oh, Carol Skinner.
Yeah.
Roundhead's wife.
Yeah.
You know, she was always around.
Yeah, she
was always around helping out a lot.
Yep. Very nice.
I think she was a nurse.
Was she? I didn't know her real well, except that when she helped with the scouts.
Yeah, Roundhead said she was a nurse because his neighbor had an accident over there, and she went over there and found out, and then she fixed the people up first, and they didn't even talk to the neighbors over there, but you know, that she went over there and helped them out over there, and they were surprised, you know, about that.
How much she knew. Okay. What were your holidays like? Were they real family oriented?
Everything was family oriented. You know, we were a big family, and we all, you know, slept together, and we all stayed together. We only had on County Line U, we had a 2-room house over there, and we all were, you know, all over. Then my dad added on. But we were close. We were close, and the holidays were really a family.
Yeah. Somebody said, I asked whose land that was there where all the pine trees are, and they said that's Amos's. He never wanted to move back over there?
Over by...
By Kurowski's?
Yeah. And so... I don't know if Jerry's got all that land there or not, you know.
I don't think so. Did your mom and dad speak Oneida at home then?
Yes, they did. They both spoke the language all the time, you know. We always, I still miss that today yet, because you hear them talking the language all the time, and then you know, they talk to us in language, you know. We didn't carry, I just listen to mom and dad, they talk back and forth, like, you know.
So if you hear someone talking, you can understand it?
I can understand, you know. I could understand quite a bit of it, you know, and everything. I still want to stay with it, you know. We still have Dad's lot of language material there, and, you know, I listen to tapes a lot. I listen to his tapes, and, you know, they're just, you know, you just keep on going. I got my little transistor up there now, and I got a tape in there now.
Was one of your brothers a boxer?
Yeah, my brother Joe. Dale Joseph, he's the youngest one, and he was a boxer. He was a professional boxer. He boxed since he was 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. You know, when the Harold King started off, I think he was down in the
basement
school,
over there, yeah.
right over there. Yeah. Back then, he just kept on going. He just kept on going. He won a lot of titles here on the state championships. He won amateurs. And then I said, well, geez, you got all that? He said, well, hey, time to move on. So he just jumped into professionals, and he done really good in there. He boxed quite a few of the guys that were top notch, and his name is in the Boxing Hall of Fame over in New York in a book.
Cool.
And I went over there for a treaty deal over there one time, and I wanted to go over there to Hall of Fame, and I seen his name in a book, and he was the only guy that beat this one guy, and that guy that won the championship, my brother beat him. It was the only one loss he had was from my brother that beat him, and it's in the books. So I had to buy that book, and I brought it to Joe, and he said, here, he's got the book yet. So we just looked at it early this fall. So.
Yeah. Well, your other brother, I etched his name on the wall in D.C.
Paul.
Yeah.
Rowley, we call him Rowley.
Rowley, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Did your family tell stories, like ghost stories, witch stories at all?
We lived in the house and we didn't have no lights on. Lights in the house, no lights or anything like that.
Yeah.
So nobody really told any of the scary stories, but there were stories because, there was no lights and nobody could. Well, we always used to sit around and play that bottle spinner or whatever,
Spin the bottle,
the
yeah.
lights, the moonlight come around and we see where the shadow goes, point, like that, And there was something else, Then we always walk and look down the road, see if cars coming, and make bets if that was Ma and Dad coming home.
Where were you stationed when you were in the service?
I was stationed I took my training here over in Fort Leonard, Missouri. I was a demolition specialist over there as a combat engineer, and I went to Fort Benning, Georgia for airborne training, and I went to Fort Gordon, Georgia. That went where I took my really basic training, entry training, and from there I went overseas to Korea, and my first 18 months in service I was a cook. When I went in service I was a cook at first, and they put me in there. Then I happened to make some chili, and the guys didn't like it, because it was too hot. And I was hungover that Saturday morning. So then I put too much hot sauce in there, and so they ran me out of there and put me on as a truck driver. And I almost had to pay for a big kettle about that big, like that vat full of chili, But there's people that ate it, but there's some that couldn't handle it, So I almost had to pay for that, I still remember that lot.
Okay.
So,
now, how about, have you ever been married or children?
Yes.
You want to share that with us?
Sure. First, I want to finish my military. So
Okay.
after I come back from Korea, I met my brother Rowley. Him and I were in service together at the same time. But then we were coming home. I was coming from service, and he was going back. He was going overseas going overseas. And then that's the last time I seen him. We had a party over by Rowan Leona's bar over there, and coming and going party for both of us over there. And that was the last time I seen him. We went to Vietnam. My brother Paul went over to Vietnam, and a little over a month later, he died over there. And after that, I was out, and then that's when I re-enlisted, after the funeral, and so I was going to stay in from then on. And then I went over to Vietnam, and then I ended up going to the Philippines, and my last duty station was Hawaii. So then one of my brothers passed away, and I came home. I was going to re-enlist when I was over there. I came home. They asked me if I'd stay home because Mom was having hard times. I mean, and back then there was nobody to turn to for counseling. They could, but she didn't go out. She was strong, holding her own. And she asked. Well, she didn't ask. My grandma and aunts asked me to stay home for Mom. So I did. Otherwise, I had 6 years in, and I did good in service. Made good rank, everything like that.
And you got to travel quite a bit.
Yes, I did. That was the best part of it. My older brother, he was in service, and he informed me of everything what was going to happen, and I asked him about it because when I was 17, I enlisted, but my mom wouldn't sign the papers. Dad signed the paper, so I waited a few more months, and then I got in, and I turned of age. Okay, I'm gone, and then.
Did your mom get mad at you?
Yeah, she didn't, really want, because the older brothers were gone overseas, and then, I'm old enough now, but anyway, that's, my military
Right.
life, and it was a lot of fun, all except for Vietnam, that's still a hard time for me yet today, so I'm on disability, and I have PTSD flashbacks from all that yet, so there you go. And then I got out, and then a few years later I got married. I married Carol McPherson from Menominee Reservation, and I have 2 children, Christine and Derek, and they're both in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I just talked to them just the other day. Yeah, and the boy, he's going to be a dad. He called me up. I said,
Grandpa.
Yeah. Right. And he said, yeah, and then I have another one grandson coming in too, is Eva Louise, the youngest one, and then we got divorced, and then I married Jan Malcolm, and then I went through 3 marriages, all, I can't say it's their fault at all myself. I have to look at it because I've been going through a lot of the stuff in service yet, and PTSD is hard on somebody else. Why, and it's not the woman's fault I married. Why, because it's what I went through, and then they shouldn't have to go through the same thing that I'm going through, and I just, it's
That's
hard
what they
for
said,
them
yeah.
also, put something on them,
So you have a daughter named Eva then, right?
Yes, after my Aunt Eva, and she's going to be expecting. She is expecting in September, and I hope it's on my birthday, September 1st, but she said it's on the 5th. So the due date, so it's all right.
You never know.
Right, And then I have another daughter, Chantel Christjohn. She's married, and she's over here in Appleton, So it's.
Okay. What does it mean to you to be an elder?
I don't feel. The guy's always teasing me, elder now. What does that mean now? How is it? Any difference? I don't know. I said, the only time I use it is every now and then I go over here to the elderly feeding, and have a meal over there. I said, oh, gee, this is. Oh. Then I don't feel comfortable because, I'm not really elder. Mm-hmm. I feel because the elders should have it more than I do, because the elder, I look at them like, say, elder is like grandma, old,
right.
Older like that, grandmas, and I'm not, I'm grandpa, but I'm not, I don't really feel, like
you can take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I'm all right, but it feels good though, I get to ride buses, and I could go to functions with them, I went to the elder conference this past spring over, and I met your mother over there in Wausau, so.
Now, I know you're active with the vets. Do you participate in any of the tribal politics or elections or anything?
Mostly it's Bowden. I don't deal with no politics, Sometimes I question a lot of the stuff, I like to question more and everything, but then I get too into things, and it just bogs me down, and I'm already going through on medication for other things like that, and why put myself into more headaches that I know I could handle a lot of the stuff, but yet there's a lot of things there that
just don't need it, huh?
Right. Let somebody else carry that, and if they could handle it, let them be, But yes, that's something, my dad always said, well, if you can get out there, at least vote for somebody, and then whoever you feel, okay, then, well, there it is,
What is your feeling about the land claims?
The land claims, wow, that's a big issue, within itself, I can't really elaborate too much on that because I know quite a bit about the land claims, where it's been going. I kept on it for a while. Then I just get, kind of frustrated. Like, hear all what's going on over there, and then come over here, and then it's just kind of, okay, I'm never going to see it. You know, I look at it, never going to see it. And Mom and Dad said they'll never see it. You know,
That's how most people feel.
I'll never see it come through, whatever. You know, but the land issue is right here with our own people. You know, we should have some land for our people here where we want to go, what we want to do. You know, right here. Now that we're here, you know.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with a lot of stuff. Why can't we have some of this?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of in the same boat. The land office didn't have a budget this year to buy land, so that's why sometimes you need to be involved in politics.
Yeah.
But that's another story. I was going to ask you, what is your definition, or what do you think sovereignty means? We get a big, wide variety of that, but we like to ask you, everyone.
Sovereignty is holding your own, you know. You hold your own right down to the bone. You go according to the law of the land. If that's something, you know, to somebody, you know, how did you grow up? Did you go according to the land, or did you go according to what's outside there? And what we have here is what we got here, and that's what we should keep here. And why don't bring nothing in from the outside to change our ways, how we have it, you know, how we had it. It was really nice when I was younger that, of course I wasn't in politics, where we could freely go from here to there and feel comfortable about doing this and doing that, you know. Now you got to kind of watch yourself, what you're doing here, or what's going to happen, or where, you know, is this yours? Yes, it is mine, you know. It's all of ours here. Yeah. And let's keep it that way. Let's not let somebody else come in there and say, no, you can't do this, you know. Let's not do that, you know. But the sovereignty part, like that, you know, I like that issue because they let you know who you are, really. And if you're that person to be sovereign, let's carry it on through, all the way through. You know, I like that part, that they're very, okay, I'm going to be this way, and that's my sovereignty of everything like that, you know. We have to deal with outside, and that's it, you know. We deal with them. We got to go to town. We got to use them down there and everything like that. Let's not bring them into here, our home, you know, and change our ways. You know, we don't need to be changed. They've been trying to change us for years. And as I went through, you know, I see that. That's a lot of things I deal with a lot. You know, sometimes I say, well, my dad says, go to Appleton. You don't have what you have. You have a lot more friendlier people over there. And I said, well, okay then, you know. But you notice a difference here and there. And then don't bring nothing inside that shouldn't, you know, like I see a lot of things, you know, we don't need that, you know.
Someday down the road, when these videos are put into the museum, your children, grandchildren, friends, people you don't know will look at this. Is there any kind of a message that you would like to leave with them? Kind of like the one you just said, that's kind of neat. But is there anything that you would like to have put on at the end of the tape here?
Yes, always remember who you are, like I mentioned before, on that sovereignty issue. Remember that, who you are. Look way down inside where you come from. Who you are is where you're gonna, how you're gonna be. If you can't maintain all that, at least give it a whirl and see how much better you'll feel about yourself. Go right down and say, okay, here, this is who I am. I got a long ways to go ahead, and I'm 60 years old. I still got to learn my language. I still got to learn all these other things yet, you know. And I'm considered the elderly yet. Where am I? How far am I gone, you know? But although I look at it as my dad was 60-some years old when he went back to school, and he learned, got linguistics, and he learned the language, and taught the language up until he was 90 years old. So there it is. My dad said, stay in school, go to school, you know, a lot, you know. And I'm still thinking about that too. I was, you know, well, there it is, you know. But then, you know, it seems like we always put something else ahead of us. We got to take care of that, but we don't take care of our own issues here, right here. And that's one thing is just look at who you are and stay, you know, maintain, you know, right there. That sovereignty issue is something like that. If you want your sovereignty, bring yourself back down to who you are.
Okay. I'm going to ask the gentleman if I forgot anything. Did I forget anything?
I can't think of anything.
You awake?
Okay. At this point, Ted, I'd like to thank you for sharing your history with us and your family, your relatives. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, sir.